last day of the pandas. So we will see, we have not worked yet with the date kind of, data types, right? So today we will see how we can make use of time series of dates. Okay, how we can convert some columns to date time and make use of, date attributes like year, day, name. We will also see how we can, plot the graphs using those date time things. Okay, so let me import pandas as PD, and then we have to PD dot e underscore CSV
Ankit,
order.
do you have
Yeah,
any session for how to connect database from pandas?
yeah. We will talk about it in the ETL
Okay,
part. We will connect.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. And in this week,
So
do we have any weekend? Do we have any doubt session?
we can have, if required, we can have the doubt session. Yeah.
Yeah, please. We have some doubts are there, so we will discuss there.
Okay. We'll have doubt
Yeah,
session
yeah.
this
Okay,
weekend.
thank you.
Sure. Okay, so this is my data frame, and if we look at the data types of this data frame, so I will do d types. So using df.dtypes, you can check the data types of each column. Okay, so it is showing that sales and profit are float column and everything else is object. Object means string basically, right? So if it is not float or integer or date, it will be object, right? So everything is object and sales and profit are float, right? Now, what I want, if we look at our order date, right? Order date is a kind of date, right? You see YYM and ready, but it is not recognizing it as a date. It takes everything as an object by default, right? Or if it is a number or float, it will take integer or float, right? But it is not taking as dates. So specifically for dates, we have to tell data frame that pass dates. So pass dates equal to, and then we have to give which all column you want to pass as dates. So I will say I want only order date. Okay, if you have more columns, like say you have ship date and you have receipt date, you can pass all of those columns and it will pass it as a date. Okay, so if I run this now, it is fine. And if we say df.d types, right? So see, it is now recognizing it as date time, right? Earlier it was object, now it is recognizing it as date time, right? So this is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is, one more thing you can do is you can just read it as normal. So let me take it back, and I will just remove this, right? Now again it is a object, it will be object, right? So one thing is, while reading, you can tell data frame that I want to pass order date as a date, right? Pass dates. Otherwise, let's say you have read the file, now you don't want to read the file, you just want to change the data type of order date. That also we can do. So I can say uh, pd dot, sorry. So I want to change the data type of what? I want to change the data type of order date. So I will say df order date dot to underscore date time. Okay. No, it is like pd dot to date time. Sorry. And then I have to pass this, right? The column name. So if I do this again, it is converted into date time. You see, it is just showing in the output, but essentially what we can do, we can just assign it to order date, back to order date, right? So what I'm saying, from pandas data frame, I have a do date time function and I am passing this series. So what it will do, it will convert this into a date time data type and we will assign it back to df. So if I look at the df.data types again, it is again a date time, right? So if you want to do while reading the file, you can do it. And if you want to change later, that also is possible, right? We will see what all we can do, but currently we are talking about how to change it to date time, right? Another, some of the features is, so for example, your, so let's take some example dates. So I'm saying, let's say I have a list of dates, like 2020, 0101. Okay. And then I have 2021 04 04. I want to convert it to the date time again, right? So I will say pd dot date time. On list also it works. Pd dot date time, and I will pass dates. Okay, let's see what happens. So if you see, it created a date time index, right? And the values are this, and the data type is date time, right? Now let's say my date is like this for some reason. Dollar, 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 dollar. Right, let's see. Will it be able to recognize it as date? No. It is giving me an error, right? This is not a valid date format. So for example, if you have some date, right? And if you want to tell pandas that my date is in this format, so you can pass the format argument. So you can say format. Okay, most of the date time formats it will recognize. Even if you give 2020 slash one slash one, it will be able to recognize. But it is like dollar is coming, so it is not able to recognize that it is a date. So you can pass format. So you will say my format is percentage y, right? And then I have a dollar, right? Then I have a month, and then again I have a dollar, and then again I have a day, right? So if you tell this, it will be able to convert it. Again, it is able to convert it, right? So when you are reading it, right, when you are converting it to two date time, you can pass the format. Even here, you can pass the format, right? That in what format your dates are. Okay. Now let's do one thing. Let's do one thing. I will just change it to forward slash. Okay. So let's say you have two rows and you have this kind of, dates. So if I run this, it is saying, first of all, I don't have to pass format because this is a long format, right? I don't have a dollar. So let me remove it. Okay. So it is able to convert it into a date, right? Now what I will do, I'll just change one to hyphen. So I have two dates now, right? One is with forward slash and one is with hyphen. It is possible in your data you are reading from Excel or somewhere. Some dates are in this format and some dates are in this format, right? Quite possible. We have a lot of dirty data. So if I done this, what will happen? It is giving me error. If you look at it here, it is saying that passing format if your string have a consistent format. So if your date has a consistent format, we can pass format. But it is also saying that you can pass format equal to mixed. What will happen if you pass format equal to mixed? The data frame will check different kinds of format and it will convert into date time. Okay, so let's pass this. So now I will say that my formats are mixed. There's no single format. I have two three kinds of mixed format, right? And let's do. See, it is able to do it. So pandas is smart enough that it will check whatever date time format possible and it will try to convert each of the value to date, right? So these are
Okay,
different ways of. Sorry.
Ankit, if there is one ampersand and one is dollar, then is it recognized?
No, then it will be difficult because we can pass this one format, right? So these kind of formats pandas is able to identify. Like one is 001, one is this, right? But if you pass completely different dollar or something, right, and it will be difficult. So if it is dollar, then it should be consistent. Or what you can do, let's say you have uh you can filter and then do it, right? No, then column data type will not change. No, that will be difficult. We can check, but we have these options available. Even if you have mixed data type, you can pass format as mixed. Let's do this. So what I will do, let's see if it works. No, it won't work. It won't work because you can either pass the format right? Or you can pass the mixed, right? If I do dollar, it is not working.
So Ankit, in the mixed format, it will only accept forward slash and hyphen.
Forward slash hyphen, yeah, definitely. So, but the other thing is you can just do this as well. So this is your Y by MMDD. Let me do this 0, 1 and 12 or 15. Okay. This also it is able to recognize that it is 15 January, it is 1st January. So let me do this 15. Sorry, my bad. 15. Again, it is giving you error. Month must be in 112. Yeah. So what is happening is it is considering this as month. So this also should be YY hyphen MM hyphen DD. Right? It is not. So it is YYY DDMM and this is YYY MMDD. And this also is creating problem. So mostly it will work when at least you have, YY MMDD in place. So if you have some data, it is possible that some of the formats are YY hyphen MM hyphen DD and some of them are YY forward slash MM forward slash DD. In that case, it will work. But if it is fully matched up, somewhere you have MM first and somewhere you have DD first, then it will be a problem. So if I change it to 1501, it will work. 1501. It is expecting MM at the second place. Okay.
So Ankit, in that case, we have to, pass separately both of the dates, right?
Yeah, so basically, this is the thing. If you have a fixed format, you can pass, right? Like this.
Yeah.
If all the dates are in same format, it is simple. You can pass the format, right? If it is not in same format, then you can pass mixed, but there are some limitation with mixed, right? It
Yeah.
should be, Y by MMDD. Everything should be Y by MMDD. Separator can be anything else, basically.
But yeah, again, if we have the YY DDMM and then YY MMDD, then we have to pass it separately. We don't have
Right.
any.
But separately, how you will pass?
Twice we have to call the same. Giving the column name. Say, for example, we have the order date and the ship date. Order date has a different format and the ship date has a different format. So we have to pass twice. First the order date, then
Ah,
second.
right. If you have two different columns, then it is fine. You can do. But in the same column, if you have two different kind of formats, then it will be difficult.
Ankit, even if I pass the 2020/01/01,
Mhm.
and if I give the format as mixed, I don't think it is complaining. It is complaining it with me, saying that time data 2020/01/01 does not match format mixed.
It is working, right?
Yeah, in your case it is working. I don't know why it is not working for my.
Maybe you have to this date you have passed. What dates you have passed?
I passed first one is same as yours,
Mm-hmm.
and then the second one I passed the 2021/04/05.
This should work, I think. This is working fine.
Yeah, yours is working. How do you check the pandas version in your case?
So you can just, I think, pandas
I'm
hyphen version you can do.
I'm on Python 3 version.
No, Python is fine. Python 3. You should check the pandas version.
Yeah, how do I do that?
You can just check pandas hyphen version. I think something like that. Pandas hyphen version.
So Ankit, for data cleaning, this is the valid step. Every time we have to check for all the columns, may that be of date or like float or for like any column that comes up. These are the steps that we have to perform individually, or can it be performed in a single instance?
So while reading also you can pass actually. While reading the read CSV file. Okay, so let's do this. Pass data types while doing pandas read CSV. So let's see documentation. So date format we have name, column D type. Yeah, so you can pass D type and you can pass a dictionary. You can say column A is like this, it is an int or it is a string, you can pass this. Okay, so you have to pass a dictionary type, D type.
Ankit, my pandas version is 1.4.2.
How did you check?
Like print of pd dot underscore underscore version underscore underscore.
Okay. Let me check. PD dot.
I mean, you can type print off, and then
sorry.
yeah, something like that. Someone pinged it. pd dot underscore underscore version underscore underscore. Oh, there was two version. Okay.
There might be some difference because of that. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
We have
So
two different date types in column, like as you mentioned, in the same column. How will we handle that?
so let's do this. Just look at the documentation quickly. So if you see, there is this format, and I think there should be some option. That's okay. So there is this option of errors. Then invalid passing will be set as none. Then invalid passing will return the input. Ignore. Okay. So there is an option of errors equal to ignore. Okay. Let's utilize this. Okay. So let's go back here and now let's say we have something like this, right? This was creating a problem, right? So what I will say, errors equal to ignore. So if I run this is still a D type object, but what it has done is errors equal to ignore. And we have one more option, right? Course. Then invalid passing will be set as net. Then invalid passing will return the input. Then one exception. We'll have to check out, because what will happen if that this kind of format, right? Then how we will do? If we convert one kind of format, it won't convert it to the date time, right? Because others are not in date time. So the whole column will not become a date time, right?
Yeah.
So we'll check that how we can do it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. But for now, we can give the format. If we have a uniform format, if we have mixed format, we can just pass our format is mixed and it should be fine. Okay. Now let's see what else we can do with this date time formats. Okay. So let me check what we have. DF. Okay. Let me read this again. Okay. So now I have DF, right? Now we have seen that we can set the index, right? So if I want to set index as order date, I can set, right? Another option is when I'm reading the data frame, that time also I can pass that make my order data as index column, right? So I will say order underscore date, right? I can pass that make the index column as order date, or I can use df dot set index and pass column, right? That also works, but while reading also I can do it, right? So now order date is my index, right? Order date my index now. Now what I can do, because this is a date time, right? Because I have converted it as, I said that pass order date as date, right? Now I can do slice and dice here. So I can say, give me data of 2018, right? I will say df 2018. If you run this, no, I think I need to pass like this.
Is it index.d?
Yeah. So sorry, I have to pass in df.log. So if you see, all the 2018 data is coming, right? I just pass in 2018 and it is giving me 2018 data, right? In log function, I have to pass the exact index, but because it is a date time or a data type, I can just pass 2018 and it will give me those only of 2018, right? There are 969 rows, right? If I pass 2020, it will give me 2020 data only. See, so this is because I have made this column as a date time column. And if I am
Can you run
passing
count
year
on that?
in my index, sorry,
So can you run count on that?
yeah, we'll do that. Okay.
Okay.
So if we pass just the year, it is working, right? Even I can pass the slicing. So I will say, give me data from 2020 to 2021, right? So it will give me data 2020 to 21. Okay, sorry. What is the error? Oh, I need to pass like this. No. No, we don't give in a list, right? The slicing we give as it is. This should have worked, right?
Maybe there is no 21 record.
21 is not there, you are saying. I think we have to give in single quotes. No.
Non-existing case. I think 2019 is not there.
I think we have to pass full date.
Okay, so let's
Pressing
pass
not.
0101 till 2019. 0105. This is also not working. Seconds. Slicing with date time index pandas. I think some syntax error we are doing. It is doing without LOC. Maybe it is a older version. Let's see if this works. 9. Okay, now it is showing no data, right? So it is
Yeah, it should be less to more, right? Less to more.
Yeah.
Ankit, can we try ILOC?
Log,
For induction.
let's see. No. What is the issue? It is working for this guy. Do you see any syntax error I'm doing?
No, no.
It is a datetime index, right? Which is fine. This is a datetime and we have created an index from this. But for
Ankit, your voice is breaking.
okay, so what I'm saying that it is a datetime index, which is fine, right? And we are able to filter based on the year as well. But for some reason, it is not working for slicing, but it should work. It is passing the exact value, then it is fine. Exact it will. See, this is working. Yesterday also I tried actually, it was working. Not sure what is the issue.
Ankit, can you just paste the error in the Google? Maybe if we get something.
Okay, let's put on Google. It is saying that this guy is saying that you can sort first and then do it. Let's try it. Maybe it was in the new version of Panda, something is there. So let's do this. df dot sort index and then do this. Yeah, now it is working actually. Okay, so I think in some newer version of Pandas, this might be the issue that we have to sort it first if we have to do, a date-based slicing. Okay, so I can sort it first. I can do in place equal to true. Dot in place equal to true. Okay, and now if I run this as it is working. So we have to sort the index first to do this kind of slicing. Okay. It is, I think, in the newest version because I have used it before many times. It never created a issue. So maybe in the latest version of Pandas, there is something has changed. So we have to sort the index first and then we can do the slicing. Okay. Okay, are we good?
Yeah, Ankit.
Yes.
Okay, great. Now let's see what else we can do. So once we have this, so what I'm going to do is, let me do this. df dot reset index. I'm just resetting the index. In place equal to true. Okay, and if we look at the df again, we have ordered that. And if we look at the data, right? Now let's see what else we can do with this date time kind of columns. So what I can do, I will say df and order date. Now I can use date time method and say give me year. It is giving me year, right? Because it is now a date time kind of column. I can use this dt method and get the other attributes of date, right? I can just, if you want just year, I can get year. So for example, if you want a new column in your data frame, so you can say order underscore year equal to this, right? So it will create a new column and column will have year, right? So if I check our df again, we have a order year column, right? So that this is how we can get more attributes of the dates. So for example, I can get month, right? So this will give me month. Sorry, this created a new column. Okay, so we have the month, right? So we have many other attributes of date. So you can check the documentation and you can get all of that, right? I think you have day name kind of things also. So you have day name if you want Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So I think there is a documentation I had opened. Date time. So we have these all attributes. Year, month, day, hour, minute, whatever you want. If we have the timestamp also, we can get all of these things, right? You can just check this pandas series dt methods and we can do all of this. Once we have the date in place, we can do all of this. Okay. Now, what also we can do is we can even plot the graphs, right? So in general, on pandas data frame, if you have to plot a graph, how you will plot a graph? Let's understand the basics of plotting a graph from pandas data frame, and then we will see how you can do it on time series. Okay. So first of all, you have to install the matplotlib library. Okay, so you can say pip install matplotlib. Pip install matplotlib, right? So it will do for you. For me, it is already installed, so it is saying it is installed. But what you can do is you can do pip install matplotlib. Okay. Now then you have to say percentage matplotlib inline. So what it will do on your UI, basically you are using Jupyter Notebook. Here only you will be able to see the charts in the output. Like this, you are seeing the output. The charts will be created here. So for that, you have to do it one time. Matplotlib inline in your Jupyter Notebook. So let me run this. Okay. And now what I can do, so let's say I have this data frame df, right? I will say df.plot. Okay. Now you can pass that what you want on x-axis. So for example, I want on x-axis, let's say category. Category, right? And on the y-axis, I want sales, right? So I will say sales and just plot it. If you see, a chart is created, right? For it is on the x-axis, we have the category. So for each of the order, it is showing me the sales, right? You can even change the kind of chart. So this is by default, it creates a kind of line chart. You can even say kind equal to bar. So if you want to create some other kind of chart, you can say kind equal to bar. It will create a bar chart, right? So it is as simple as that to creating a chart in data frame. Just df.plot and you have to say what you want in the x-axis and what you want in the y-axis. Here, this is not aggregated actually. What we should ideally do, we should first aggregate based on sales, category, sum of sales, and then plot it, right? I'm just doing. So for each row, it is creating a data point, right? So for each row of the orders data set, it is created a data point. Instead, what ideally I should do group by category, sum of sales, and then create a chart, right? So that's why it is taking time because there are so many items. For each row, it is creating the chart. Okay. If you see, it is creating a chart, right? It created a chart. So there are so many values. That's why it is not coming clear. Okay. So now when we use the time series, we can directly use that time series to create the chart. So what I will do now, let me do this. So I will read again, and this time I'm saying order date, past dates as order dates, and index column as order date. Okay. So this is my DF now. Okay. So I will say DF, right? Now I can simply say DF, right? And let's say sales, right? And then I will say plot. Okay. So what I'm saying, plot sales, right? I'll just say this. I'm not telling what is the x-axis, what is the y-axis. I'm just saying df sales dot plot. Okay. You see, as per the, because index is a date time, right? It is taking that index in x-axis automatically and creating a bar chart or line chart, whatever, right? When your index is a date time, you can just say on what column you want to plot. So you are saying plot sales, and on the x-axis, it will automatically take the date time index and plot it for you. Again, you can pass kind equal to some other kind of, there are a lot of other kinds of chart. You can again check the documentation and it will create the chart for you. Okay. Is this plot thing clear?
Yes, Ankit.
Okay. Great. So we can even check the documentation quickly. So
Ankit, same as it is working on command prompt as well.
yeah. So no, in the PyCharm you can do it, right? You're asking about PyCharm, right?
No, command prompt, directly command prompt.
Yeah, that also should work. You can try out. Should work. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think plot. Yes, we have this plot. Yeah, so you can create these kind of chart, line chart, bar chart, histogram, box. There are different kinds of chart, pie chart, scatter chart, hex bin, right? So you have to pass basically three things: x-axis, y-axis, and then kind of chart that you want. Right? Just the three things you have to do. Right? So let's do this. So what we want, let's say category wise sales, right? So how we'll do it first? So right? I want to group on what? Category. Category. And then I want sales and custom. So this is what I got, right? Category and sales. Now if I do plot, it is plotting a chart and saying that for furniture, this is the sales, for office supplies, this is the sales, for technology, this is the sales, right? So earlier what was happening, so whatever the number of rows, that many number of data points you will have on your chart. So earlier when I was drawing it, I was not doing any aggregation. So for each of the line in my orders data set, it is giving me one data point, right? And that was the problem. So now I aggregated it So category wise sales I got, and then I'm plotting it, right? Again, if you want bar chart, you can just say kind equal to bar. So it will create a bar chart for you. This is a bar chart, right? So for this much is the sales, this applies for technology. Okay, if I want wise city, right? City wise. Again, there are so many data points, it will just take some time. So it is showing you city wise. There are too many cities actually. So it is not coming good, but yeah, you can change the settings and make it big. But you can do it.
Ankit, can you create year-wise sales? Only year.
Yeah. So what also we can do with this, that was the next thing. So we can do, currently we have data at what? Data at we have, dates, right? We have different dates, right? What if I want year wise data, like someone is asking, or month wise, right? So there is this option of DF, and I will say DF of order date, and I can say resample. And I want to resample at, let's say, month, right? And then what I want is, uh, I want sales, right? Okay. Okay. It is already there actually. Order date is not a column, it's an index. So I can just say this. DF dot resample. Sorry, my bad. I have to pass sales here. And then I have to say dot mean. I'll just explain how it works. Okay. So what I'm doing is, for the data frame, already order date is the index for me, right? So it will use that index. And then what I'm saying, resample based on month and give me mean of sales, right? So I'm first selecting the column, resampling at the month level and doing mean. Okay. So see, for each month, so this is for January 2018, this is the average sales, right? If I do sum, it will give me sum. Okay. So at month level, it is giving me sum of sales. You see, this is for January 2018, then February 2018, then March 2018, right? Like that, it is giving me sales. I can just convert it to year. So it is giving me year wise. So this is for 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. So I'm resampling at different levels, right? And I can get mean, min, max. So if I do min, it will give year wise minimum value of the sales. Or if I do max, year wise max value of the sales. Okay, and then I can do plot, right? It is giving
Ankit,
me
here
year wise.
Y means what?
Year.
Okay.
So
So,
I resampling at year, so we have year wise sales 2018, 19, 20, 21.
and Ankit, one question. So we are able to use resample here because we have used order data as index, right?
Right,
Previously.
right, right. Because I have not passed order date anywhere, right? So by default, it is taking index as your x-axis. And we are resampling on the order date basically. Okay. Resample is quite handy. It works with the datetime data type resample. Okay, there are other options. There must be weeks or something. Again, we can check the documentation, but you have a bunch of options again. Year, week. In fact, we have the quarter as well, I think. So this will give you quarter wise. Yeah. 2018, there are 4 quarters. 2019, 4 quarters. 2020, 21. It is doing quarter wise.
Ankit, for y-axis, how does it decide to distribute the values like over it's 20K, then 40K, then 60K? So that increment, how does it decide? Bases the data
This
or?
axis you are saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it will check what is the minimum value and maximum value, and based on that, it will do. But there are options that you can change this range as well. For example, if you want to start from zero, you
Uh,
can change that. So just check the documentation. You can do it, I think, in the plot. But by default, it will identify itself. What is the minimum value? What is the maximum value? And accordingly, it will put on your chart. Okay. So you have all these options, right? X text, Y text. So you want to change the label of the chart. All those things you can do. So, for example, whatever is coming here, right? You can even change that. That what should be the label? You can add some, uh, what do you call here? Things. So all those options are there. If you want to show something on y-axis, sales, and what is there in x-axis, all those settings you can do. All those parameters you can pass in the plot functions, and it will represent the chart accordingly.
Yeah. So Ankit, here we are accessing the columns directly without using iLog or log, right? Here we are using DF of sales. So at what time, like, what is the difference, like, without using the iLog or log or directly giving the column names?
So, in the log, you can pass row and column both, right?
Yeah.
In log and ilog, first thing is row, second thing is column, right? But all the times, if we want one column, we just do df and the column name. We have done so many times. It creates a series, right?
Okay. If you need only the single column, then we can directly
Right,
solve by using. Okay.
right. I mean, multiple columns also you can pass. So you can say profit and sales, but you don't have any control over the rows here. You are just saying, give me
Okay.
these two columns. But with df and log and ilog, you have the control over rows as well,
Okay. We can
right?
delete the rows from till this row, right?
Right,
Okay.
right. Okay. But if you want some columns from a data frame, you can always just pass the list of columns or just one column. If it is there, you don't have to pass a list, just a column.
Okay. Understood. Thanks.
Okay. So it will give you the profit column. Then we are resampling at quarter because our index is the date time index. It will resample at quarter level. Then we are doing sum of profit and then plotting it.
Ankit, can dual axis chart possible?
I think all those things are possible. We are not going into the detail, but you can, explore this. Bar, color map, font size, all of those things you can pass.
Ankit,
You can pass a
in
title.
industry, do we use the means plot function in our day-to-day work? Because I never saw using it. Okay, because all that if we talk about graph, we will go for the visualization tool and other things.
It is just for,
For ad hoc analysis, that is fine.
for ad
Okay,
hoc
but
analysis, right? To
yeah,
present to, generally we will use Tableau or something. It is just for,
yes,
you are doing some analysis, you are doing
correct,
some EDA,
correct.
explanation, net
Yeah,
read, data analysis. That time you can use it.
yeah,
But to for your project or showing it to business, you have to
yeah.
have Tableau or some other PI. Yeah. So
And
for
okay,
example, here I passed this, title as
mm,
my first chart. So it is coming. So you
yep,
can create proper charts. And maybe, you are doing some analysis, you can just copy from here and put it
yep.
in a PowerPoint, right? If you want to, you
Yes,
don't want to take this data to somewhere else. So all
correct.
those options are there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and one more thing, Ankit. Okay, that till now, okay, we have learned all the group by and all other things. Means all that whatever in SQL. Okay, we have learned almost all the things in here. Okay, but do we have any techniques to write the code in a good way or in a proper way or in efficient way?
Uh, mm, in an efficient way, what do you mean by that? So for example, if I have to aggregate the data, right? and then do a plotting. So I will aggregate data and do a plot, right? There is no point of efficiency as such here, right?
No, like in SQL, okay, if we are joining a too large data set, okay, we have a certain strategy, right, to do the join and all, okay. Here, if we are doing the merge, okay, doing the join of two very large data set, okay, do we have to follow some particular strategy to do that, to make the code efficient? Means what could be the best way in those scenarios if we are dealing with very large data sets?
So very large data set, I would say if it is a very large data set, go with NumPy actually if you're facing a performance issues.
Okay, and
Okay.
for joining and all, also NumPy?
For any purposes, if your data set is very large, you can always do using NumPy. But most of the time, you will not face that issue because Pandas is also built on top of NumPy. But especially for numerical computations, NumPy is much, much faster than Pandas. Okay. But Pandas is quite fast, and there are some other libraries, I don't remember the name, which also you can use, which have Pandas like syntax only, and they are faster than Pandas. So there exactly all the things are work as Pandas. You just have to change the library name. That's it. So they
Okay.
have some libraries have come.
Okay, yeah. One thing, okay, what I understand, I know, okay, from programming point of view, one thing is the complexity. Okay, the complexity comes when we are writing some loops or other programming in that way. But if we are dealing with that data set and reading data, cleaning the data, in that case, okay, there if the means I don't know about the strategy. Okay, so just asking on that. Okay.
I think there's no concept of indexing or those kind of things here. You can
Okay.
directly work on Pandas as it is, and it should be fine.
It should be fine. Okay, and it is not anything like PySpark, like means that code execution and all will be done at the RDD level, so we
No,
can.
no.
So it's
No.
not no concept like that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's talk about few more things. Okay. So how do I change the data types, right? So for example, I have this data set here, and if you look at the data types again, data types. Okay, so this is a float. Again, this is a float, and these are objects, right? Let's say I want to convert it to integer for some reason, right? I just want to convert my profit to integer or sales to integer, right? So what I will do, I will say df and then select the column sales, let's say, and say as type. Okay, so as type is used to convert the data type. So I'm saying convert the data type to int, right? So from float, I want to convert to int or int32, right? I can do it. If I do it, you see, it is coming as integer. Okay, let me create a new column and show you. I'll say df sales int is this, right? And let me run df now. If you see, it is in int only. It is taking the integer part of your sales, right? Right. So similarly, if you have an integer, you want to convert it to float or any of those kind of things, you can do. Right. Now let's take another example. So let's say I have this data set where you have some of the values as null, right? So let me do this. Let me create one row as null, and then we will see. So let me create first row for the time being as null. Okay. So if I look at df, I have to read again. Just a second. Okay. Okay, so why df is this? Why it is coming here, man? I always struggle with this.
In that case, you can click on the last
Yeah,
and then you can.
yeah, it is coming now. Cool. Okay, let's read df again and see what is there. So if you see, one of the column sales is none, right? Let's look at the D types. So it is showing that is a profit and sales are float numbers, right? Now, what happens is, what is the data type of none? Let's see, what is the data type of none? Okay. So I will say type np dot none, right? I think I need to import numpy. It is np. Yeah. So it is showing the type of none by default is float. So when you have a null value or a none value, the data type of it is float, and the other values are also float, so it is fine for me for now. Because my sales value was anyway a float value, right? Now let's convert it to a int. Okay, so I will say df and sales dot s type int. Do you see any issue here? Will it work?
No.
Why?
Null
Float
cannot.
to int, larger to small data type.
No, that we have done
None is
earlier
there.
also, right?
None is there. None.
Null.
This worked, right?
Yes,
This
but
worked
it should work.
absolutely.
It should work. Actually,
Okay, let's see. You comment everything. It is giving me error. It is saying that cannot convert non-finite value to integer. Basically, it is saying it cannot convert that none value to integer, right? So in those case, when you have null or none and you want to convert it to a integer value, right? What you have to do is you have to fill those null values to 0 or something. So what I will do, I will say fill NA to 0, right? It is converted into 0, and now I will say convert it to integer. Okay, so if you try to change the data type of a column where it has null, it will give you error that we see, right? A non-finite value, it is not able to convert into integer. So we convert it into 0 first and then typing it as integer.
Ankit, we are converting one data type to another data type. This is like is it typecasting?
Yeah, it is kind of casting in SQL we have the cast, right? It is that kind of thing.
Okay.
So Ankit, here how to find the, suppose we know that in the first row we have null values. Suppose in the real time somewhere will be there, right, null values. So how to list out the null values?
Yeah, is NA we discussed, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. In the last class, I think we discussed this. Is NA. So it is giving you true, right? So this is first values null. You can pass this to df to get the rows wherever df sales is null, right? So this is first row is only the one. I
Yeah,
changed only the first row.
got it.
So you have is NA, drop NA, fill NA. There were three methods. Drop NA will drop the row. Is NA will show you which are null, and fill NA will fill something if in the null values. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Great. Yeah. Okay. So you can do typecasting from one data type to another data type using S type basically. And if you want to assign it to a same column or a new column, you can just assign it back, just like how we did here. So we created a new column. If I just assign it to the that column, so my sales column will become an int now if I run this. Okay. So we can handle however we want. Okay, great. Uh, Now let's look at one more thing. Okay. So if you remember, we were doing some pivoting, right? Let's using group by. So let me do this. So I have this orders data set. Let me again create a pivot table. Okay. And what I want is I want city in the rows and sales in the values, right? So this thing we were able to achieve using the group by. Are you all agree with me? With the group
Yes.
by, we were able to achieve it, right? Now, but in here, we can also, what also we can do, we can even put the columns. So let's say category, right? So it is saying that for this city, for furniture, this is the sales, for office supplies, this is the sales, for technology, this is the sales, and this is grand total. So you can ignore this. But we can create columns as well, right? This is typically pivoting, right? That from rows to column I am doing, right? Do you guys understand what is happening here?
Yeah, it's a typical pivot
Yes.
table. Yeah.
Yes.
Typical pivot table, right? Now, if I want to create this pivot table in Pandas, I have a pivot table function. So let's do it. So I have df, this is my df, and I will say df dot pivot underscore table. Now I have to pass three things here, right? Here also there are three things: rows, columns, and values, right? There are three things. Same three things I have to pass to Pandas. So I will say index equal to index means my rows. So I want city as my rows, right? So I will say city. Okay. What else I want? I want columns. What columns I want? I want my columns as category, right? What is the third thing? Values. So I will pass values. What value I want? Sales, right? Exactly same thing I am doing. It is giving me the result, right? Wherever you are seeing empty, it is just representing as none. Now you
Yeah.
will say you have not given what you want, sum of sales or average of sales, right? I think by default it takes mean, but you can change it. So you can say aggregate function should be sum. Sorry, aggregate function, I think so. Yes. You are saying aggregate function should be sum. This should be my row, this should be my column, and this should be my values. Exactly same what you are doing in Excel. Index, just instead of rows, I am saying index, then columns and values, and I have to pass separately what aggregate function. If you want min, you can pass min. It will give you min of everything, right?
Yeah, it is like case one, right? Case one.
It is like case when. Okay, so this is very cool functionality, pivot table. Right? The only thing is you are getting none values wherever it is not there. So for example, for this city, there is no sales in furniture, right? And here you are getting it as user empty value. So here you are getting the none value. That's it. Here also it is same 25.5, 25.5. There's only one only, I think that's why it is giving. So if I do some max min is same actually for this one because there will be only one row. That's why, right? If you see it is 373.358, 373.358. It is exactly same. Whatever we are doing in Excel, same thing we can do with Pandas. Okay, great. Now,
Total sum is not coming or what? Ankit, hold on. The total sum is not coming. I'm asking like total sum is not coming. Can you go back to
Total
the
sum is
Excel?
not coming. That is in Excel only. If you want, you can create a new column here. After doing this, you can create a new column where you can add these three columns. Total sum is just Excel shows you by default. It doesn't show you by default, right? It is the sum of these three, all three, right? If you sum these three, this will be grand total 1086. If you want, you can create a new column. DF grand total equal to DF furniture plus DF office supplies plus DF technology. Okay, good. Okay, so far we have been reading just the CSV file. Let's see what other files we can read. Okay, so let's start with Excel. So I'll just remove this, delete, and now in this Excel I have two tabs, orders and returns. Let me close it for now, and I will say df equal to pd dot read, instead of read CSV, I will say read Excel. And again, I have to give the file name. So my file name is orders.xlsx. Okay, and let's run this. What is the issue? Okay, I need to install this. My bad. To use Excel, so pip install openpyxl. Okay. Pip install openpyxl. Let me put it here as well for your reference. Install openpyxl. Okay, it is done. And if I run this, there is no error. And if I see, I have the data frame created. Just like I read CSV, same I have to do. Just instead of read underscore CSV, I have to say read underscore Excel and pass orders or whatever my file name. Okay. And the path if it is not on the same path where your script is. Right. Now we saw there are two sheets, but by default, what happens when you read it, it will just read the first sheet, right? What if you want to read the second sheet? So you have this argument, you can pass sheet name equal to, right? You can say returns. Returns, right? Our sheet name is returns. I don't know it is sheet or sheet name. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it works. You can pass your sheet name as well, right? So if you pass sheet name returns, it is able to read the second sheet in your Excel, right? If I pass orders, by default, it takes first, but you can pass the sheet name as well to be very clear that in your code that which sheet you want to read. You want to read orders sheet, you can just read it.
If in Excel the sheet name varies, okay, then how could I, without opening, how could I read that all the sheet in Excel?
So you want to create different data frames, right? It cannot be in one data frame, right?
No, I don't know the sheet name. Okay, I can without
You
opening.
just
Like
want to read by order, right? Sheet order, first
okay,
sheet
there
or
is
second sheet, right?
okay. Means here we have an option to pass the order also.
We have the option of pass the order also. So there will be some other argument. I don't remember the name, but pandas read Excel. So we can pass sheet name and we can pass the order as well, I think. Sheet order. Okay, sheet name 0 if I pass, it will take the order. Okay. Let's do this. So sheet name instead of the name, I will just pass 0. Okay, it is reading the first sheet. If I do 1, it is reading the second sheet. So
Okay,
it is
good.
able to do, if you pass the name in single quotes, it will take as a name exactly. Otherwise, you can pass the index value as well. It
And if
starts
I
from
want to
0.
know how many sheets are there in an Excel, can I determine? Do you have any logic for that?
I mean, there will be some way in Python, but not sure if using read Excel you can do it.
Ankit, generally we are
Then
not
there will be
working on
definitely
Excel,
some
right?
way to identify how many sheets are there. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry for interrupt. Generally, in data engineering, generally we are not working on Excel, right? We have some ORC file
Generally,
format, JSON file format.
I mean, it
Sometimes we
depends.
get the
Sometimes
file.
you have
Sometimes we get
Excels
the
as
file.
well.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay. I did not saw, that's why.
yeah. But the good part is it is just the function name is changing, and then after that, you whatever we have done, we can just do it on this. Once it is a data frame, same thing applies. Whatever we have learned so far,
Okay.
right? You just have to change from read CSV to read Excel, and because Excel can have multiple sheets, you have the sheet name option, and you have bunch of other options as well you can explore. But if for CSV, we cannot have multiple sheets. CSV will be one file, so there is no option of supplying sheet name, right? But
So
for
will it
Excel, you
work?
can pass the sheet name.
Yeah,
Okay.
Ankit, will this work even if I want to read multiple files from the same path?
Multiple files. So you will have to create different data frames and then merge them, right? Concat them.
No, I'm saying there are two different orders.xlx file with the date varying,
Mm-hmm.
and then I want to read the second spreadsheet from them.
You
Will
can
it
You
like that?
open that folder, put all the path into a list, and then create a data frame using loop multiple. That is the one way.
Okay, from the multiple files, you want to create a data frame, is it?
Yeah, by passing the sheet name.
By passing this multiple sheet names. Okay,
Yeah, but let's say for example
got it.
I'm getting but let's say I'm getting the orders.xlx file every day, and then there are multiple files in the same path.
Okay, it is saying you can pass a list as well. So if you pass a list, that also works. So if you have 3 sheets of orders one, orders two, orders
No,
three,
not 3 sheets. There are
mm-hmm.
three files.
3 files, different files. Okay,
Yeah.
reading multiple Excel files, pandas. Yeah.
I can do concat, Ankit, I think.
Yeah, but Ankit, I believe it is basically doing union at the end, right? So the number of column needs to be same.
I think we can pass a list. So it is saying read Excel app sheet 1. Yeah, actually we can pass a list as well. So you have multiple files. Let me do this. So let's say you have orders.txt,
Mm-hmm.
.xlsx, and let me create one more.
Yeah, but now you know the file names upfront, right? Because that may not be the same in every case, right?
So you can use that OS module we learned. Remember? Where we can list all the file names.
Right.
So you can list all the file names, create a list, and then pass it.
But
Okay,
Ankit,
that's what
isn't
this
it
guy has
mandatory?
also done. So
Yeah.
he's using OS module, right? OS.list directory, listing all the files. And if you want to read from only XLS, filter XLS files, right? Create a list and then pass it to the read Excel function. So it will read all those Excels.
Yeah. Can I put that URL in the chat?
But Ankit, isn't it mandatory to have the column name same for all the Excel sheets in that case?
I think if it is not the case, what it will do, it will take from the first one. We can explore it, but I think it should work still. It will just take the column names from the first sheet.
Yeah, but there may be a case like in the very second sheet an additional column has been introduced and that might not get populated in the data frame, right?
So I think what will happen in wherever value is there, it will come. If it is
Mhm.
not there in second sheet, it will come as none. I think that's how it will be. Yeah, but we can always explore it.
Mhm.
Okay. Now similarly to read Excel, you can write to Excel as well. So for example, we read using read CSV and write to CSV. Again, if you want to write back, I can say df dot to Excel. So it will write it back to Excel. And what I want to write back, I want to write df and my orders underscore to, let's say, dot XLSX. Okay, so I will have a new Excel file. This is the one, right? Orders underscore to. If I open it, it created it, right? In DF, currently I have the first sheet name. I do 0 and just close it. So again, if I do this and go back, what happened? Okay, there is some error here. Sorry. Yeah. So let me write it back now. This writing is done, and we have this, right? Now, if you want to pass sheet name again, there should be some that option. Sheet name equal to orders. Okay, so if I do this, it is giving me error. Okay, I think this file is open, so it is saying permission denied. I need to close it and try it again. Okay, so now it is done. If I open it again, my sheet name will be orders, right? My sheet name is orders. Okay.
Ankit, can you show handle how can you handle the JSON file format or ORC?
Yeah, I'll come to that. Okay, but for Excel, is it clear? Any doubts?
No.
Okay, so now what I will do, let me do this. So I will read just the first one. Okay, and let me comment it for now. This is my df. I will say df dot to underscore JSON. Okay, I'm going to write it to a JSON file and say returns dot, sorry, I have to give in single quotes dot JSON, right? What I'm saying, write this data to a JSON file. Okay, so I'm instead of to CSV or to Excel, I'm just saying to JSON, right? Let's see what has happened. So we have returns dot JSON somewhere. Yeah, this is the one, right? And it, if you see, it created a JSON file, right? So I want to, how I can
What
change
wrap
the
is there?
format
What wrap is there? Yeah.
in the view on. Okay. Yeah, so this is my JSON file. JSON is nothing but a kind of dictionary, key value pair you have, right? So what it does is it created
Ankit,
a
in
order.
the language select JSON.
Yeah, that will just highlight it, nothing much. It will not change your. It is able to identify anyway. It is a JSON only, but to see that is just to keywords are there. It will highlight accordingly if you change the language. But you have to do word wrap. If it is in one line, it will come in multiple lines basically, right? So what it has done, if you see, this is the orders is a key, and in that you have all the orders, right? And then return reason again is a key, and you have all the returns, right? So for first one, zero, bad quality. The first one, wrong product. The second index is bad quality again. So this is your zeroth index orders, first index order, second index order. Okay. Now what I will do, I'll just close it and read it back. So I will say df JSON equal to pd dot read JSON. and I can pass my JSON path name on and file name. Okay, so let's run this. It is done. Let's see what I have. You see, we are able to read the JSON file back. So it is so simple. Just you have to change the function name df underscore csv, df underscore xl, df underscore sorry, read underscore csv, read underscore json, read underscore xl to write back to underscore xl to underscore csv to underscore json. In the same way, you can do Parquet format and all. So pandas, if you see Parquet read, right? So you will have read Parquet. So let's do this. I'll
So,
do.
Ankit, even if it has the nested JSON elements, it will automatically read those, right?
So you have to pull it out. If it is nested, it might be possible in one of the columns, the JSON is itself coming, right? Then you will have other options of pandas. There are other functions which you can further convert those JSONs to multiple columns,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it will be possible. Where in whatever format JSON you have, you can do some formatting changes and it will work. Okay. Let's try to do a Parquet format, right? So what I will do, I will say df dot to we don't have a Parquet file. I will create one. Okay. So I will say underscore p dot Parquet, right? Single quote. Okay. It is running. It is giving some error. What's the problem? Okay. It's saying try to report the missing optional dependency. Okay, so let's quickly check this. Okay, so it is saying pandas dot read Parquet or to Parquet, right? But it is saying we have to tell the engine also. So it is PyArrow or whatever, right? So I will tell my engine is PyArrow. So I think it is mainly to, from the data engineering point of view, we have a Parquet format and we have to pass that what kind of engine I want to use to read it. So I will say PyArrow. If it is not installed in the system, you have to install PyArrow, pip install PyArrow. But I think, what is the issue now? Okay, I need to import, I think. Yeah. Let me do it quickly. Import PyArrow. No module PyArrow. Second. What is that? Read Parquet using pandas.
Okay, can we leave for a day?
Yeah, you can leave for the day. Yeah. Okay, I need to pass engine as PyArrow. We just read and write this Parquet file. That's it for the today. Okay.
Need to
I think we
install
have to
PyArrow.
pass. Sorry.
So we have to install PyArrow.
I think it is installed for me. Let me check. Install PyArrow. Okay, I think it is not. Yeah. Okay, I think other system I had installed it. Okay, it's done. Let's try it. Okay, it is done now. Okay, so if I go back and we will have a Parquet file created, right? This is the one, right? Order speed.parquet. Now, if I open, you won't be able to, read it anything because it is a columnar format, compressed format, right? But if you want to read it back, again, read underscore Parquet, as simple as that. So you can say df_p equal to pd dot read, same thing. I'll just complete. You can read ParQ file and pass the ParQ file name. Again, I think we have to pass the engine. So there are different engines which we can use to read the file.
PD dot. PD dot.
TF. It is TF actually. Oh, PD dot. Right. Yeah. So the DFP is created, and if I just see df_p, I have the data, right?
Ankit, after it's converted in the data frame, so we can perform any operation like slicing
Right.
and all, right?
Everything. It is now a data frame. Whatever we
Okay.
have done, you can do. As simple as that.
Okay. Because in Spark we have to use some different coding for that handling.
Okay.
That's why.
No. Here, whatever, it is just a different methods to read different file. Once it is in a data frame, all are same.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Okay, similarly, I think for ORC also you will have definitely pandas method. So yeah, read ORC pandas, right? So you have read ORC. So similarly, you have almost all the methods to ORC, read ORC, right? So this makes life simple, right? Tomorrow we will see how we can connect with databases, right? For database, we have to do some more things, right? But for files, it is simple. Read Excel, read CSV, read ParQ, to Excel, to CSV, to ParQ, all those options we have.
Yeah, as
Okay.
compared to Spark and Scala is very easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Panda.
Yeah. That I agree with you. Yeah. Okay. Great guys. Tomorrow we will work with database, how to read from database, how to write back to database. And then once we are comfortable with that, we will do some ETL operations, how we can perform ETL. Okay.
So do you have any instruction to set up the database and all the stuff?
Sorry, say that again.
Do you have anywhere in the instruction to set up the database and all the stuff like SQL?
Okay, I will add. So you can, I will work with SQL Server, but actually that works for other databases also. You just have to do little bit of setting changes. But yeah, I will add. You can install the SQL Server. I'll just add the instructions in
Okay.
today's class, in today's folder.
Okay, thank you.
Ankit, one question. Tomorrow we are going to start with ETL, correct?
Right. So first we will see how we can work with databases, and then we will start the ETL things.
Yeah, like many people here are aware of it, like, but many people will be there, like me, say, those who are not aware with the ATL. So can you start like you can take a question like who have a knowledge of the ETL, their question you can take it at the end of the session because we get confused like what exactly things are.
Yeah. I will tell you from the basics what I'm doing. So even if you don't know anything about ETL, I will tell you in a very simple, plain language.
Yeah, like please keep the doubt session at the end because that will create a lot of confusion.
Okay. Okay, I'll just mention it once we start the ETL things.
Thank you.
Okay, can you please once tell me why we are using Parky when you start read.parky?
So Parky is a columnar format. It is a very compressed format. So generally in Spark and in S3, if you want to store it data instead of CSV or .txt file, you can store in a Parquet format. There are two advantages of it. Once first is it is secured. You cannot just open the file and read. If it is a CSV file, right? You can just open and read it. From security purpose also it is good because it is a compressed format. You won't be able to see by just downloading the file, right? So once is security and it is much, it takes less space, right? Let's say if you are storing a CSV, it might take 100 MB. If you are storing in ParQ, it will take much lesser space. And it is fast also. Reading and writing to ParQ file is also faster. So ParQ is one of the format used in data engineering works where you have huge data sets, right? So it's like one of the format. That's it. Nothing much. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.